You walk into labor fully prepared and still feel your voice vanish the second somebody in scrubs questions your pain. I've seen it over and over. Smart, capable women who've spent months preparing for their unmedicated birth just nodding along to things that they don't want. Not because they've changed their mind, but because they didn't feel like they even had a choice. You're in labor. You're vulnerable. A provider throws out a recommendation and it's not what you wanted. Your body is contracting. You're trying to stay focused, and suddenly your voice disappears. This isn't about being nice. This isn't about being agreeable. This is about having a plan on how to hold your ground in the moment without feeling like you're picking a fight. And that is exactly what we're going to do today. In the next few minutes, you're going to know the exact reason that so many women freeze in the moment, even when they thought they were ready. You'll hear the exact tool that I use with my Empower Birth Coaching students to help you hold your ground without conflict. And you're going to walk away with a mindset shift that changes how you respond when the pressure's on. Welcome to Trust Your Birth Tuesday, where we cut through the noise, ditch the fear-based nonsense we've been fed about birth, and actually get to feeling prepared and confident. I'm Coco. I'm a birth coach and doula and mama who has had 2 unmedicated births. I've been a doula for years and I've supported women through just about every kind of labor. But the same thing that I see over and over again is even if you're prepared, even if you've hired a doula, even if your partner is supportive, there's going to be moments where the room is looking at you to make the decision. I'll never forget one birth that I supported. She had been laboring for over 36 hours. I had been by her side, guiding her through the twists and turns of a long, exhausting birth. She was strong, she was focused, but her body was tired and so was she. Eventually, I stepped out just to use the restroom for a few minutes, just for a moment. And within minutes, everything changed. She went from barely dilated to full on transition. Her care team rushed in. She was overwhelmed, and the baby was presenting in what the providers thought was a strange position, which led to a lot of pressure for a C-section. When I got back, everything in the room felt different. The room was loud, her energy was scattered, and even though she was in one of the most vulnerable, powerful moments of her life, no one stopped to check in with her. I looked at her and I said, "Do you feel clear on what is happening? Do you want to pause and talk through your options?" That moment, that gave her enough space to remember this is still her birth. Here's the thing, a doula can support you. Your partner can be by your side, but you are the one that is living the experience. And if you don't feel confident in speaking up when the plan suddenly changes, it's really easy to get swept along. And that's why preparation isn't just about having the right support. It's about building the internal clarity and resilience to use that support when it matters most, when things change, when the room feels loud and the pressure is on, so that you don't disappear. Speaking up in labor takes more than just knowing what you want. It takes being able to access your voice in the exact moment your body is under pressure. This is something that most birth prep completely misses, because in labor, especially when something shifts or provider suggests something unexpected, that's when your nervous system is going to kick in. Even if you've done the research, even if you know your preferences, when your body is in that vulnerable state, that intense state, your brain is not always going to respond in the way that you want it to. The freeze response, the urge to just nod and agree when it doesn't feel right, that is not a mindset issue. That is your nervous system protecting you. And this is where advocacy breaks down for so many women. Not because they didn't prepare, but because they weren't trained to stay grounded enough to speak up when it actually matters. There's also a subtle pressure that comes when a provider speaks with authority. Most of the time, the language that they use and how they speak feels like there isn't a choice. The way something is framed, the tone that they use, the timing, it can all make you feel like you don't actually have a say even when you technically do. And your body is already trying to cope with the contractions. You're more likely to default to the safest in that moment, agreeing, nodding, going along with it, just to make sure that the pressure stops. And this is why true advocacy isn't about being confrontational. It's about having those tools and internal steadiness to hold your ground without having to raise your voice or be disrespectful. And that is how you lead in your birth, even when the room tries to lead you. You can have all the information in the world, but when the pressure hits, what you really need is a way to slow things down and respond clearly. That's why inside my Empower Birth Coaching, I teach a tool called the Confidence Compass. This tool has helped my clients navigate some of the most intense birth moments with clarity and calm, even if the plan had shifted. It's not a script, it's not a checklist, it's a way to get back to your body when the room starts spinning. You ask the right questions, you choose the response that aligns with you, your values, without freezing, panicking, or just defaulting to whatever feels easiest in that moment. We don't have time to walk through the full framework step by step, but I do want to give you a taste of how it works with one simple technique that you can use right away. It's called the power pause. Here is how it works. Let's say you're in labor and your provider suggests something unexpected. Maybe they recommend Pitocin, even though that wasn't a part of your original plan. Your body is contracting, your brain is foggy, and you feel the pressure to respond immediately. In that moment, instead of nodding or going along with it, you take one slow breath. You plant your feet and you ask this one simple question. What would happen if we waited a little bit longer? That one moment, that pause, is often all it takes to shift the energy in the room, to remind everyone that you are still the center of this birth experience, to bring your nervous system back online just enough so that your voice can come through steady instead of shaky. Because true advocacy doesn't start with what you say, it starts with how grounded you feel when you say it. The power pause is just one small example of the confidence compass, but even this alone can change the way that you experience your birth conversations. Inside my birth coaching, we go way deeper into this. We don't just teach the tool, we practice it in real life scenarios with your partner in your body, so that when labor begins, you're not trying to remember a script. You are rooted in the rhythm of how to respond, because that is what advocacy actually looks like. It's not a checklist. It's a muscle that you have trained, something that gets stronger and stronger the more that you practice it. A lot of women think that advocacy means that you have to be bold, confrontational, or on guard the whole time, which can be really scary for someone that usually doesn't use their voice or speak up in those scenarios. But real advocacy does not come from tension. It comes from grounded clarity. It's not about knowing the right words to say. It's about staying so connected to yourself that your decisions don't come from panic, they come from trust. Because here's what most people don't talk about. In labor, the moment that you start spiraling emotionally or mentally, it is the moment that your ability to advocate is going to start to disappear. That's why inside my birth coaching, we're not just going to hand you the information and say good luck. We train your nervous system to stay steady in the middle of intensity. So even when things feel fast or overwhelming, you are going to know how to stay anchored in your body and make decisions from that place. That mindset shifts everything. You don't need to memorize scripts or rehearse a bunch of what if scenarios. You just need to be able to stay rooted in yourself even when the plan changes. Because the most powerful thing you can bring into the birth room is not a perfectly written birth plan. It's the ability to stay connected to your own voice, no matter what. So here's what we covered today. Why self-advocacy is so hard in the moment, even when you're prepared, what actually throws you off track and how to shift it, and a powerful tool that helps you stay grounded and respond with clarity. That beautiful power pause. But here's what I want you to take away with you most of all. You do not need to become someone different to advocate for yourself. You just need the tools, you just need the practice to access the strength that is already in you. And that is what we do in my Empower Birth Coaching. We don't talk about confidence, we train for it. We walk through real scenarios. We practice tools like the confidence compass in your body to make sure your partner is prepared as well. So when the moment comes, you're not second guessing anything. Because when you feel calm, grounded, and clear, your voice is not going to disappear. Birth is not just going to happen to you. This will be your birth experience that you will lead. You become the advocate that you are meant to be. If you are ready to stop just hoping that things go to plan and actually prepare for whatever birth brings, I want to invite you to apply to my birth coaching. You can just click on the link below to apply. No pressure. We even have a one-on-one birth prep strategy session for completely free to make sure that this program is right for you. But if you are feeling the pull, this is the time to listen to your gut, because this is the time that you have to prepare before you're holding your baby in your arms. And what do you want that experience to be like for you? This is your birth. Let's make sure that you and your voice stays at the center of it.